Welcome, I'm Mark from Cambridgeshire Wine School, and in this brief video I want to talk through wine serving temperatures. And I'm going to use the slides given me by the WSET, the Wine Spirit Education Trust, to use for when I'm teaching professional wine qualification courses. So this is the slide the WSET give me for running through the ideal serving temperatures for white wine, rosé wine and sparkling wine. And you'll notice they've split it into three kinds of degree of chill. There's well chilled, chilled and lightly chilled. And well chilled is pretty much fridge temperature. They give us a degree temperature range here, 6 to 8, 6 to 10, but that's because when you get the bottle out of the fridge and you're enjoying the wine, it's going to be starting to come up in temperature a bit. So you don't have to be too precise, you don't have to be too exact. No one's suggesting you need to get a thermometer and measure the temperature of the wine when you get it out of the fridge to make sure it's in the exact range. It's really just, an idea, a rough idea. And the thing is, your wine will be at the right temperature for most of the time while you're drinking it and enjoying it if you start at fridge cold for well chilled. But what are the wines that you need to serve well chilled? Well, they say here sweet wines, so dessert wine like Sauterne, for example, and sparkling wines, so like champagne. So in other words, if it isn't sweet and if it isn't bubbly, then it shouldn't be served at fridge cold. And that can be one of the first aha moments whenever I'm teaching this with people, because some people say I serve all my whites at fridge cold, straight out of the fridge. And the thing to understand is that in fact fridge cold is too cold for most white wines. It's fine for sweet wines, fine for sparkling wines, but for most white wines that is actually a little too cold. So let's talk about the next category, chilled. Chilled is 1 or 2 degrees centigrade warmer than fridge cold. And the easiest way to achieve that is to just pull the bottle out of the fridge 10 or 15 minutes before you want to start drinking it and enjoying it. Just give it some time to come up in temperature a little bit. So what kind of wine is ideally served like that? Light-bodied white wines like Sauvignon Blanc, Pinot Grigio. Medium-bodied white wines like an unoaked Chardonnay or a Macon from France. That sort of wine is going to be ideal, and rosé wines. That's the sort of wine to give it a good chill, but not fridge cold. So what's the next category? Lightly chilled. Now this is significantly less chill. 10 to 13 degrees centigrade, that's 4 or 5 degrees centigrade warmer than my fridge. So what is the kind of wine to be serving at that temperature? Full-bodied whites. What's a full-bodied white? So an oak barrel-aged Chardonnay, an oak fermented Chenin Blanc, maybe a Viognier, a Gewürztraminer. These are the less crisp, the less refreshing style of white wines. So light-bodied wines like Sauvignon Blanc, they're very crisp, they're very refreshing. These fuller-bodied styles are richer, they're creamier in texture. And that is the kind of wine where you're really going to notice the difference. So my suggestion is you pull those out of the fridge half an hour, maybe 40 minutes before you want to start tasting them and drinking them and enjoying them, just to really give them plenty of time to come up in temperature 4 or 5 degrees. So this is one that you can experiment with. The next time you find yourself buying a bottle of full-bodied white wine, why not buy 2? Take them home, put them both in the fridge, let them come to fridge cold, pull one out half an hour, 40 minutes before the other one, and then when you've got them both out, open them, pour them into 2 separate glasses, side by side, compare. Same wine, different temperatures. And I think you'll notice that the colder wine, the fruitiness of the wine and the aromatics will be things like floral flavors. Gewürztraminer is very floral. So the aromatics and the fruitiness in the colder wine will just be more dampened down. It'll be less obvious in the glass. And then in the wine that's still got a chill, but not as much of a chill, you'll notice the fruitiness and the aromatics more. So for a lot of people, if they're serving all their wine fridge cold, they're missing out on quite a world of flavor that they could be getting, particularly from their fuller bodied whites, because those wines are being served too cold. So before we just move on, just to get the key, what is the key for how much you should chill and how much you should not chill a white wine? It's the body. It's the texture of the wine. Does it feel thin, light, crisp, or does it feel a little more viscous, creamy in texture, fuller, richer? The fuller bodied wines, less chill. The lighter bodied wines, they can carry a higher degree of chill. And once you've understood it's the body, that principle helps you understand the answer to the question, can I chill my red wines? Well, you certainly can chill your red wines. But what is the category of wine that you're most likely to pick out as a candidate for that? It's your lighter bodied reds. So the principle is exactly the same. More chill on the lighter body, less chill on the fuller body, only the range is different for red wines. The chill that you'd put on the lighter body is only a light chill. So lightly chilled, and that's only 13 degrees centigrade. This is not as much chill as you'd put on your fullest bodied white. Just a very light chill. And you do light bodied reds are ideal for this. So what is a light bodied red? A Beaujolais, a Pinot Noir, a basic Valpolicella. Your kind of crisper, more refreshing styles of red wine would be the perfect category for this. Now, another point though, you don't have to chill red wine. This isn't an order. This is not an obligation. It's optional. It's up to you. But if you were going to do it, it works better on the light-bodied reds. All other reds are ideal for medium. So the medium-bodied and full-bodied reds are ideal for room temperature. But there is one more thing to say about that, one more quirk, and that is room temperature here is defined by the WSET as 15 to 18 degrees centigrade. Well, I know that in the middle of winter, my room is not running at 15 to 18 degrees centigrade. With the central heating on full blast, we're at 20, 21 degrees centigrade. So it's possible that some of us are drinking our medium or full-bodied reds too warm. So that point is a little bit pedantic because most of the time in Britain, most of the year, room temperature is going to be perfectly fine. And in fact, even for your light-bodied reds, you don't, as I say, have to chill them. So room temperature is perfectly fine most of the time for most red wines. The problem comes when you've got a particularly high alcohol red wine. Then if you let that become too warm, that can throw the alcohol out of balance, and as you're tasting it, you might actually conclude that that wine tastes a bit harsh. And it isn't the wine's fault. It's actually because you're drinking it too warm. So if you are interested in that, one of the solutions you can have for that problem is to store your red wine in a cooler room, like a utility room. And then when you bring the wine in from the utility room and it's beginning to warm up as it hits the warmer living room temperature, you can catch it, you can be drinking it at exactly the right temperature. But as I say, you don't need to get too het up on that. It's something to experiment with in case that helps you out. So I hope that clears up the whole thing of serving wine and the temperatures to be serving wine at. And as I say, it's up to you to experiment. Work out what works for you. Try different things.